Kyle and Jackie O.
Kyle and Jackie O, it is a big week politically for a lot of our leaders this week. The federal election is on Saturday. Mr. Albanese is here, everyone.
Hey.
Hello, Mr. Albanese.
Good morning.
Hey, now-
Thanks for coming in studio.
2 more sleeps to go.
Are you
believe
excited?
it?
Is it like Christmas in a way?
It is kind of.
Yeah.
I just hope Santa brings lots of votes.
Lots of
Yeah.
votes. Now, look, we've met a few times.
We have.
We did tell you you had your feds in here earlier making sure there was no bombs or anything.
They're like that.
We did a joke where we pretended there was drugs in intern Pete's butt. They didn't find it. We've got our security. Do you mind if they just pat you down to make
security
Just
first.
don't manhandle him.
He's pretty big.
He's not going
huge.
to hurt you. Just pat him down. Just check. Make sure.
We call him Tank because he's built like a tank, obviously. That's his name,
There
Tank.
we go.
He's good. He's clear.
He's clear.
He's
Thanks,
clear.
mate.
Good.
Sorry about
Phone.
that.
You missed it.
No,
you missed the electronics.
Now, Albo,
It is a straight. I've got to say this.
What?
my house, I live in a pretty ordinary suburban street in Marrickville, and the whole neighbourhood, there's like it's so obvious where I live.
What do you mean?
Look for the multiple police cars. And people
Oh, you're
on
sticking out
corners
like a
and
sore
everything.
thumb.
Yeah, just a bit.
How are your neighbours with all of this?
They're cool. They're really good, actually. The neighbours did get a bit disturbed by people. There's one news outlet, not a mainstream one, was knocking on doors asking about their neighbours and
Trying to get dirt on you.
It was like they just were like, "Hey,
Come on.
really?"
That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
But hey, at
not
least
what we
they've
do in
got
Australia.
security in their street. There'd be no
They sure do.
break-ins.
There's no break-ins
They should be
going on
thanking
there
you.
at the moment.
You've got a new missus.
The
Have you told your missus start wrapping up shit? We are moving to Kirribilli. Have you had that discussion?
No.
You haven't
Not
got any quotes or anything yet?
Not getting ahead of ourselves.
Right.
We know what happened in 2019.
Yeah.
Where everyone expected Labor to win.
Yeah.
That's right.
And we didn't get there. So we will, not taking anything for granted. I'm going to 5 states over the next today and tomorrow.
Are you really?
Wow.
And I was in WA at the beginning of the week.
I saw that. I was over there last week. Beautiful spot, WA.
It is a great
Absolutely.
spot.
You forget how gorgeous it is in Western Australia.
I love it over there. It's, I think there's something too about a long plane trip. When you get there, there's a different time zone.
Yes.
Feels like you're
Did you have a
somewhere
fight with
else.
the guy at Eurocar as well? Because, they're very slow on the service at Eurocar.
He has his own car organised, I'd imagine, Dom.
did.
Yeah,
you've
we
got-
sort of
They don't line up at Avis.
No.
Well, I don't normally either. I just tried to be a normal person for once. And it's not good being normal.
It wasn't good for
It's
you.
not good, Albo.
If you become...
Will you give it up now?
I'm giving
Can
up
I ask
being
something?
normal.
Do you fly commercial? You fly commercial
Normally.
when you're Prime Minister. You're still flying commercial.
No,
No way, you got your own plane.
No, you fly.
Oh, you do have your own plane?
As I am at the moment. Yeah, it's an Air Force plane.
Oh, okay.
So you have all of that, and during the campaign, we've been getting around on the Air Force plane, which has been
Great.
terrific.
I bet.
Is it luxurious, this Air Force plane, or are you sitting
No. sideways
sideways with parachutes on strapped to the wall? What's the vibe on that?
No, it's a pretty good vibe.
It's a nice plane.
Yeah, it's
Right.
a nice plane.
Does the car go on the plane as well?
No.
It's not
No.
like
No.
Air Force One.
No, it's not quite as big as Air Force One.
I've
but
always wondered, Albo.
it does mean that you can get from A to B quicker than you could otherwise. 'cause
I get that.
You're not waiting.
I've always wondered if I was Prime Minister, I would get rid of that little plane and get a big A380.
No, 380.
Let's just pimp this joint up a bit.
Yeah, make it
But you're-
impressive.
If you're the
I'm
Prime
not
Minister,
sure what the taxpayers would think
Well, I
of getting
know.
an
Oh, this is where
A380.
you guys always worry about.
That's the weakness in that plan there.
right? Yeah.
But
Can't you
there's
lease
an
it?
element of showmanship, isn't there? I mean, my daughter went
A
to
bit of
Canberra
pizzazz.
on camp, and she said, where the Prime Minister lives in Canberra is not very great, she said.
Did she? Your own 11-year-old
she was
daughter?
like, it wasn't as fancy as what I thought it would be. She's very disappointed.
No, well, of course, one of the things about Canberra is, and the same here in Sydney, is that when you go to Yarralumla, the Governor-General's residence is magnificent.
I know.
There's
That's where
kangaroos hopping around,
Yeah.
there's waterways.
They get
there's
all of it.
that. Yeah, the lodge isn't quite like that. And
What-
Kirribilli, of course, was essentially the servants' quarters
Was it?
for the governor of New South
Right,
Wales.
that makes
so
sense.
the governor's residence
Is
here,
next door, right?
Admiralty House
Yeah.
is next door, and it's
And that's the big sandstone joint.
It's far more palatial.
It is.
than
Kirribilli.
Have you thought maybe do a swapsy?
do a swapsy.
like
how would that
like
go down?
Wife Swap on
No.
Foxtel. Have you seen that?
Mate, I've just done interviews outside my house where I grew up, a council house in Camperdown.
Well, you're still flogging that horse. I would be too if I was, because I
Well,
was homeless.
he's always saying
Kyle,
he's
I was
homeless.
homeless.
Yeah.
I'd be better than you. Like, how would you go up against me?
Well,
You'd be like, I was in a council flat,
You've
and I'm
done
like,
it
I can
tougher.
beat him. I was homeless. We had no home.
Indeed, I was lucky to have a secure roof over my head, but you would have got pretty good odds at me living.
You wouldn't last on the
living
street.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Would you last on the street, do you think?
Oh, it'd be really tough now,
It
let
is.
me tell you.
Oh, especially in
really,
winter.
Really, really tough, and too many people are. The biggest growing number of people who are homeless too are older women. So there's a real crisis out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, is that why they've not organised properly, or
People
they've had
who-
mental health, or is it they've got no money, or what's the go?
They find themselves at the end of their working careers. They don't have super.
Right.
They don't have savings, and they just find themselves in
How
difficult
terribly sad.
circumstances. It's a real problem right around Australia. That's what you hear from homelessness services.
How
it's
do
bad.
you fix that?
Oh, you don't fix it.
You probably just ignore that, right?
immediately,
There's other
but you
things.
do. No, we've got additional funding for emergency housing as part of our.
Is that a lot?
Housing
I
Australia
mean, how
plan.
much do you need for something like
You
that?
need a lot. We've got an additional $100 million to put into emergency housing. We'll develop a national homelessness strategy. It's something that, it's a blight. We're a wealthy country.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't have people who are falling
No.
so far behind.
Yeah, a
So
lot of people-
what about when I've heard different stories about one of your things that you're running, which is that people will get paid an extra $1 an hour. Now, some are saying every Australian gets that, and some are saying no, it's only people on minimum wage.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So, is that extra $1 that they get paid every hour? Does that come from the government, or is that on the business owner to pay that?
I've got my little dollar here that I've been bringing out during the
Okay,
campaign.
you're
That's really lost its shine, that dollar, too.
I know.
Why don't you get a shiny
Are
one?
you sure that's
Yeah,
not a 10-cent piece?
Well, it's been going around.
It looks like it's got all the gold has come off it.
Look, if you're on a minimum wage, then you're in a job like cleaning or doing one of the jobs that got us through the pandemic.
Yeah,
Now, the inflation rate is 5.1%. Real wages, we learnt yesterday, have gone back by 2.7%. That means for an average worker, they've gone backwards in the last year by over $2,000 in terms of their standard of living. They're doing it really tough. But if you're on the minimum wage and your wage isn't at least keeping up with inflation, like what do you give up? You're spending every cent of that $20.33 an hour.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
And the Fair Work Commission will make a decision. And what I've said is that if they make a decision that people shouldn't have their real wages cut, I'd welcome it.
Now, ScoMo has
absolutely.
said that their
Wait.
government is going to be putting up. It's going to happen anyway. So
But it's not happening. It's going backwards. He said that, but yesterday the figures came out, and they've gone backwards by 2.7%.
So
the
who's
difference
paying
between
who's paying the dollar, the
wages
extra
and
dollar?
inflation. Well, employers pay the extra $1 an hour.
Oh, I'm paying.
What happens if it's a
If you're
small
on a minimum
business?
wage, these people out here,
They're not on minimum wage.
They're not on
No,
minimum
they're paid
wage.
well.
Look at them.
Yeah,
And
Look
they
at them.
might not
They're
be,
all
but
saying,
what-
all your team
They're all
are on
highly
more than
paid.
$20 an hour.
For sure.
But what about the small businesses that are already struggling? What about those people who now have to pay more?
Sure.
Is that going to put too much pressure on their business?
Well, look, the problem with this is that you have to make essentially a judgment of whether people who are on just $20 an hour can afford to go backwards. My view is that they can't. My view is that if the Fair Work Commission make that decision of a $1 an hour increase in their wage,
Yeah.
it's 2 cups of coffee a day. That's all it is. $8
Doesn't seem like a lot.
$8 a day. They're doing it tough. People, I help out at a place called Addy Road Community Centre that does food hampers. Now, they used to do food hampers when I started volunteering there for homeless people who were really desperate. Now those food hampers are going to families to feed their kids.
Right, so it's increased exponentially.
It's increased
and it's not
enormously.
More people are struggling.
Yeah, it's low-income earners out there. There are people who are just doing it so tough. And we have to acknowledge that and not fall behind. You know, some of the sort of corporate executives have said, oh, you know, we're worried about this. What they're really saying is that people who are really at the bottom in terms of their wages should get a real wage cut further. And I just think, you know, we're in a country like Australia, we can't afford to go down the track where you have those massive disparities in income and wealth that we see in the United States
I've wasted
and some
my
other
life
countries.
because I earned nothing when I was young and struggled and fought and with no education to climb to the top of the tier.
You've done well.
I've done well.
And that's a good thing.
But I've worked hard. What about people that are not working hard? Should they just get a handout?
Well, we're not talking about people who aren't working. We're talking about people who are working hard. The people who clean this building at
They're
night
not working
when
hard.
no
I've got
one's
to
here.
sometimes re-vacuum after they've been in here. I'm not joking.
Come on, Kyle.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
$20 an hour.
Put your headphones
I
on so
ask-
you can hear.
Yes, Brooklyn,
he
you
doesn't
can
have his
ask.
Brooklyn's a
headphones
fan
on.
of yours, so
Yeah, put your headphones on.
Hey, Albo, welcome here.
Hey, mate, good to be back here.
ScoMo and the Coalition have warned you about taxes, that you're going to put up taxes, more taxes are coming.
Oh, did you hear the remix of
Yeah,
the song?
we've
I won't
got-
play it, but did you heard that?
We all know the jingle, but what are you doing with taxes? Like, the highest income bracket is 45% tax.
Correct,
Are you okay with that? Do you think that's too high, too low?
All the income tax rates will stay exactly the same, no matter who is elected on Saturday. There will be a shifts coming whereby there's a shift down from the 32.5 and 37.5
So it's coming
rates. It'll go
lower.
down to 30. Or go
Is that
down
business tax?
no, personal income tax. Those changes have been legislated. We support them. The only difference on tax at this election is we've got a relatively small measure about multinationals paying their fair share. So they
Well,
can't.
what's the ad mean with the bucket and all the money falling out? That's got a
That's-
Labor sticker on it and all the money's falling out.
Yeah, it's just
What's
a
that
lie.
about?
It's a
What
lie.
about the
It's
Gollum
a
thing
fear-
where you're like,
it's a fear campaign.
What did you think? Wow, come
I
on.
watched that.
What do
and
you think?
I could not work it out. I reckon it cost a lot of money to make that ad, and I was like, okay.
Were you laughing or were you
I
like,
was laughing.
were you
I
annoyed?
was embarrassed for them.
You're embarrassed for them.
I was embarrassed for them that they spent all this money on an ad that with a claymation that I'm told costs a lot of dough. Like,
Can you do the voice?
it was just.
Can you do the voice?
I'm not
You
going
would've-
to do the
you-
voice.
Your
I'm
missus
not
would have
gonna
asked you
help
to do
them.
the voice at
I'm
home.
not going to help them out in a future ad.
I gotcha. Yeah, that is true.
Well, they can't-
you don't,
they
want,
can't,
you don't want to
yeah.
be used against you. I get it.
Oh, wow.
But it's a crap ad, isn't it, Cole?
Well, look,
Come on.
I
What's
had to
the point of
re-listen
it?
to it and re-listen to
What's
it.
the point of it? I don't know.
I was laughing so much I didn't even know what the point was.
That
So you're
Exactly.
right. I didn't get the point.
I think, is that you think one way, but you're not allowed to say it because it means more votes
Oh,
if you say
that's right.
something else.
Ah, okay. So you're the one person who understood the
Yeah, I
ad.
understood
What
it.
the ad?
Jackie actually
Good on you,
developed
Jackie.
the ad. No, she didn't.
I did.
Hey, that's another thing on changing your mind. I know a few years ago you said that you didn't support turning back asylum seeker boats, and because you thought if I was in that situation in the Navy and you saw, desperate mums
Yeah.
and kids, you wouldn't want to turn that boat around.
Sure.
But now you say you would.
Well, it's worked.
So
it's worked.
so,
Look,
yeah.
I make no apologies for when the facts change, you change your position. And
So you are open to changing your mind based on whatever facts are available
At the
on the
time-
day, and I feel that is
at
that
the
is
time,
a
look,
smart way to be.
Things change. Look, I have said during the pandemic, one of the things I said when I became Labor leader was I wanted to be known as the Labor leader, not the opposition leader, not
Yeah.
just opposing everything for the sake of it.
I actually
People have
admired that because when you said that, I thought that's fair enough because the word opposition puts like a tarnish on it already.
And part of my criticism of the government is that they act like the opposition in exile on the government benches. You have a look at their ads. They're all negative. They're all they're against, and
But they're very
and all that.
creative. Don't you think they're very creative?
Well, they
Had a laugh. You
They
wouldn't
use
have laughed.
claymation.
We laughed.
That's
That's-
true. That's true.
Do you know how,
But what's their agenda for the next? I can't work it out.
Beating
Like
you,
it-
I feel, is the agenda.
That's what I think it might be.
Vote for us, and you'll get more of the same. That's essentially their slogan.
We had Craig Kelly on the other day too. You know, the guy with all the foam.
Yeah.
He's got lots of foam, and I don't know what's going on there. He didn't seem as mentally deranged in person as he seems on TV. Have you met him?
I certainly have.
He used to be the Liberals, didn't he? He was a Liberal guy.
Morrison imposed him on Hughes in a pre-selection.
We don't know what all that shit means, just saying.
This time he
the pre-selection, we don't get it.
well
To us, this is a popularity contest.
He was Scott Morrison's handpicked choice, and now he's running with Clive Palmer on a 1-to-1 basis. I always got on fine with him.
He seemed okay, but on TV, on the news, he's always screaming at very red in the T-shirts, medium T-shirts. These guys aren't mediums.
Can I ask
They're
you,
large.
Albo, when you've in the past done press conferences and obviously they've caught you out not knowing certain things, is it when that happens, is it just too much information that you have to retain about everything, and that is why that's happened?
Oh, look, that can happen, but we're all humans. We all make mistakes. When you make a mistake,
did you know the answers and blank, or did you not know the answer?
I did. I'd done a whole range of interviews that morning. I had stuff thrown at me, different figures about different things.
It was a slip of the tongue, was it?
Yeah, it was. It was a mistake.
You forgot.
I owned up, and we moved on. But I tell you what matters. It's how you hit the finishing line and whether you hit it in front.
You were days away from
not the first metres of the race.
What do you feel? Like, I know that it's very neck and neck. You guys and ScoMo's guys, the race is between you guys. It was very close, even closer last night. It is like, it's razor thin, the difference. What do you think you need to do to get across the line?
Appear on Kyle and Jackie.
Wow, look at that. Now, ScoMo's on tomorrow and Pauline's on later, so everyone's
This will be the turning point. Yeah,
this here.
That will be the turning point.
So what are you going to do for me?
Bring it home from here.
For me. Forget about the normal people.
For you?
Yeah.
Give you a better country. One you can be more proud of.
In what way?
We'll have a National Anti-Corruption Commission for a start.
I'm no fan of the anti-corruption.
We'll have.
So all my friends are always involved in all this. They're always in hearings, and it's just a nightmare. It's real painful.
Well, didn't the Prime Minister say you don't have a plan for anti-corruption?
Well, we do have a plan for anti-corruption, and 31 judges made a statement yesterday.
Aren't they all retired, these old clowns?
Smashing his. Well, current judges can't make comments on that.
But aren't these
we have a plan. I'll tell you a plan that will appeal to you, Kyle.
Yeah.
That's at the centre. A future made in Australia. Making more things here. We can't just export all our resources that we've got and then wait for value to be added somewhere else
and then buy it
import
back at top dollar.
At top dollar.
And we're talking about steel and all this sort of stuff.
Things like everything. You look at new industries, batteries for renewables, whether it's an electric vehicle, but more importantly for your house, for your business.
You drive the electric vehicle?
Are going to go. I drive a hybrid, yeah.
Oh.
And when you look at that growth sector, we have lithium, we have nickel, we have copper. We should be making more things here, taking advantage of the opportunities.
Why haven't we made this stuff here?
Because this government told the car industry to bugger off, and they did.
But that was just the shitty cars like the Holdens. No, we're over that. We're all in the even the Prime Minister's in the BMW now. Got rid of the fair lane. Gone.
Because it's not made here anymore. That's why.
Oh, right. Yeah, they stopped making it.
That's why.
Is that on the government or is that on Ford?
We don't make any of it. Well,
who's responsible for that?
Well, telling the car industry to leave was a really dumb thing to do. Because you know why BMWs exist in Germany? Because Germany post-World War II decided it would rebuild their economy with advanced manufacturing, high-tech, high-value manufacturing and electronics in vehicles, in all of that. We can do the same here. We can make far more things here, and we should be doing that. And what that will do is enable us to have secure jobs, high-wage jobs, high-value jobs that'll boost the economy.
We've had some listeners call through asking, will you be offering the same super scheme that ScoMo is? where it comes to for the home loans, being able to take
The
from your
40%.
super.
No, we certainly won't.
Why? What do you think of
we
that?
won't, because it makes no sense to rip off an asset in order to get another asset. Your super is really important for people's retirement incomes. Once you fiddle with that, you run a risk not just for individuals retiring on less, with less comfort, having to rely upon the pension more people. That will place more pressure on the future budgets. But also our super industry is worth $3 trillion. That gives us investment in infrastructure, in the ports and airports and roads and railways.
Didn't you guys sell all that off to China?
If we do that, no, this...
I'm only going by the ads. I'm only going by
Morrison
the ads.
about selling off the port of Darwin to China, which he gave a $20 million incentive to the Northern Territory government to sell the port of Darwin to a Chinese company.
What would you do there? I
wouldn't have done it.
You don't do the selling off?
I wouldn't have done it.
Because Clive's ads are on TV
I have
going,
never-
there's this airport and it all looks like China have taken over Western Australia.
Yeah,
Did you notice that when you were there? No. Or is Clive unhinged?
I do know where his money comes from,
digging our products out of the ground.
and selling it to China.
That's right. Oh, right. Why is he against that then?
Oh, Clive.
That's
That's beyond my pay grade to explain that, mate.
So now, look, is there anything you need the public to know? Because Jackie and I have told you, because I'm rich, I'm voting for Liberals.
No, Kyle, I thought I got you
I know.
across.
No, well, look, I'm open to listen. You're a
I
nice
thought
guy.
I got you
Celebrate.
across.
You're a
Well,
nice guy,
okay.
but I don't know. I'm
How's
scared.
this
I'm
for a
scared.
pitch? Anyone who has less wealth than you should vote for us, and you can vote Liberal. That's a good deal.
Well, it's not just rich people on the Liberals, is it?
No.
That was your pitch you just gave yourself.
Is Labor and Liberal pretty similar? Like, it's not like extreme left and extreme right.
No.
You guys are pretty similar, right? You care about people, you care about jobs, you've got some different ideas.
Well, we care about people. I don't know that a government that set up robo-debt, for example, that is now saying that they'll have more cuts to Centrelink and services and vet services and areas like that, cares about people. And that was their big announcement a couple of days ago in terms of their savings.
Where are you getting all the money from for your promises? This is something they've all said. You've got no money, you're just making it up.
We have been very responsible. After this, I'm going to a childcare centre. Okay, that's our biggest commitment this election, is to make childcare more affordable. And you know what it does?
Can you also tell them not to leave the kids in the buses? Like that's what you should learn the first day at a childcare centre.
Yeah, but going back to
it costs money, but it brings money back in as well, because women are able to participate in the workforce and work a fourth or a fifth day. It improves productivity, it improves the size of the economy. It also gives our youngest Australians the best start in life through early learning.
Oh, no. Now, how do you get... See, my Auntie Jill, who lives in Brisbane, no fan of yours. This is what
Auntie Jill.
Auntie Jill. Lovely. She's been a nurse her whole life. Lovely. She took me in off the streets. She's a real carer. She said, Albo sounds like a weasel who speaks through his teeth.
Oh.
How do you get someone like that across the line?
Mean.
This is a 70-year-old nurse, devoted her entire life to healing.
Good on Auntie Jill.
How do you get someone like that? Is that just nothing to do with policies? Is that just she's looking at you and judging you?
People will make their own judgments, and you have one of the things about my job, a bit like your job, is that not everyone will like you. And
I've never understood why people don't like us sometimes. I just don't get it.
Wait, can you go back to the question where Kyle said, where is all the money coming from?
Oh, yeah.
We'll put out our costings later today, but what we are doing is targeting areas that will produce revenue, not just be expenditures.
How about marijuana crops? And then you tax them like California did, and then they got rid of their whole state debt.
We're not,
because everyone's smoking weed anyway. No good pretending it's not happening.
We're not going down that track.
You don't smoke weed?
But no.
You never have?
No, well...
You've never had a toke? You've never had a buck? You've had a bong, surely.
I'll take the fifth there.
We've all had a hit, sure.
We are, in terms of the priorities that we have, growing the national broadband network, growing infrastructure, investing in making more things here, childcare, they're all things that will add to the economy. They're not just money splashed around. This government has splashed around taxpayers' money, and it is the most wasteful government in Australia's history.
Haven't we done all right throughout, like world stage with the pandemic and all that stuff? No one knew. It was a disaster for everyone. I bet you're glad you weren't dealing with that. But we've done okay. We're in debt. Yeah, it's going to take a long time.
Australians have been magnificent, but we've got $1 trillion of debt, but they doubled the debt before the pandemic.
Will you guys write off the debt like you're going to write off the uni debt? Just write the COVID debt off. Let's pretend it never happened.
It doesn't quite work that way.
We do a runner from MasterCard or whoever we owe the money to.
It doesn't quite work that way, and
Because
that's
I
the
found
problem. There's nothing to show for the debt.
ScoMo, years ago, when I owned MasterCard, I owed them $20,000. I had no money. My dad took me to MasterCard and we offered him $10,000 to clear the debt, and they accepted it. Have you ever thought of doing that with the government? You just make a deal.
We might make you finance minister.
It can be done.
If you could pull off that deal.
Because you say to MasterCard, you either get 10 now,
works that way.
You get 10 now or you get nothing. And then they take the 10 every time.
It doesn't quite work that way.
Albo, will there come a time, say you do get in and you're Prime Minister, will there come a time where you will try to get that debt down?
Absolutely.
With harsh cuts?
Not with harsh cuts, with sensible growth, and by getting rid of the waste and the rorts. Like they got this commuter car park scheme, right, with over $600 million. Now, the idea is you have a car park next to a train station. There's car parks that have been funded where there's no train station. Pretty hard to have a commuter, like it's just a rort.
Maybe there's going to be a train station there.
It's just a rort. You had North Sydney Pool funded the upgrade from a regional program right next to the Harbour Bridge there, and they said, oh, well, people from the country might go and swim there. I mean, it's red hot. We paid $30 million for a block of land near Badgerys Creek at Leppington that was valued at $3 million. And no one's provided any answers as to how the hell that happened. That's taxpayers' money.
If you set up the federal ICAC, will that be investigated? Like, can you?
It will be up to them to investigate whatever they want. It'll be independent of government.
You could bring yourself down by putting these watchdogs in. I don't like watchdogs. I don't like people watching and sniffing around.
Well, we need integrity. It's taxpayers' money.
Integrity, schmigrity. Yeah, I think it's a
Do you believe in the...
We won't make you Attorney General. We'll just leave you in finance, right?
Thank you.
We'll leave you to go right off the debt, but we won't let you anywhere near the law.
That's fair. Well, I met a lot of law officers in the King's Cross the other day, and they are very nice. I'm not a fan of the coppers.
My ones are nice who are here with us. They're
are
terrific.
Good. Federal police got no problem. It's the highway patrol I'm no fan of.
But in the lead up to this, now that we're down to the wire, you watch these kind of movies on elections, and someone's always got dirt on the other party if they need to pull it out.
Have you got a dirt file?
Yes, is there a dirt file? Or do you believe they have a dirt file on you? Is there anything, that...
I'm
pure as the driven snow.
So
all I remember about snow was my dad told me don't drink the yellow stuff. Keep clear of the yellow snow. No go. So you think there's no dirt file? We're not as dirty like that like other countries are.
Well, I hope not. In terms of,
do you have a skeleton that you think? Oh, I'd hate for that skeleton. Like I once accidentally slept with a transsexual. Do you have anything in your closet like that?
I am who I am. No.
So that's
Wait,
a yes.
that is not the answer.
We've all been to Mardi Gras. Look, we're all in one slip up.
I am who I am. You've got something,
it
right?
Sounds like a gay slogan. No. I am who I am. It's a Gaga song, I feel. Listen, Albo. You're a nice man.
We appreciate you always coming
very honest.
in too.
No, it's always better in the studio.
I agree. I do agree with you there.
I get to see those beautiful microphones.
Oh, I thought you were going to mention her breasts.
Because you were looking in that direction.
I didn't know what was going on.
I do realise.
He's not he's not a creep. He's not a creep. He might be other things, but creep.
Absolutely.
I think and you've done well with the weight loss.
20 kilos.
Gee, that's pretty impressive.
Well, I got damn COVID during the campaign, and that
what a disaster the beginning was. But I think
I've got to say that knocks off your appetite a fair bit too. So I'm sort of
having a new lover, that must obviously have knocked a few pounds off.
Well,
you're back in the saddle. You know what I'm saying?
Early stages.
The first year, it's always crazy. The first year, you know what I'm saying?
I'll just let other people.
Is she travelling with you?
No, she works full time, but she has travelled with me on the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And she's coming with me tomorrow and
Is your
on
ex
Saturday.
really campaigning for you?
Yeah, of course she is.
How's that?
That's a sign of a
That's
good
a good
man.
sign.
Yeah, really.
She'll be there. She'll be there handing out on polling day
And how
Well,
long
she
have you had the
does-
new
yeah.
girlfriend for?
for a couple of years.
Oh, okay. And how does she feel about her life possibly changing?
Oh, she'd be champion. She'd be loving
Like,
life.
it's
No,
a big
well, it's-
change for her.
Well, it is.
If it
is-
happens?
it is a big change.
Have you said to her, listen, I could make you first lady? You would have said I would have said sexy things like that.
She had never been in the paper before we got papped.
That's a horrible feeling.
At a dinner, and that was pretty confronting for her, and she had to tell her employer and.
Oh, no.
You know,
and then you have to hold, because if you're not used to being in the spotlight, it's very confronting for people.
it is, but she's great in terms of engaging with people and
You look happy with
talking
her.
with people.
And I'm sure, I don't know your ex-wife or whatever, but I'm sure that was obviously still a friendly situation.
Yeah.
That's good.
It
So
is
where
good.
was the first kiss with your partner? Where were you?
Oh,
You in a car, a dinner, her place?
Now we're getting into we're getting into.
I don't want to go. I'm not going to ask
detail.
any extra. Just like, where was that first moment where you were just like, I just want to kiss this person's lips?
Oh, not disclosing that.
Oh, what a gentleman.
I'm not disclosing.
That'll impress you,
Real
Jackie.
men don't talk about that.
It's true.
Oh, don't
Yeah.
they? Oh.
Carl does. We
I've
do.
been
We
running
both
my
do,
life
actually.
completely
We
wrong.
all do.
Listen,
Look, we have to let you go, Anthony. Thank you so much for coming in. Good luck with the election.
Thank you very much.
See what happens on Saturday.
We've been very open here, everyone, because we don't just push what we think, because there's a lot of people listening to this, all different walks of life.
They're all voting for me out there. They just told me.
Who said that?
All of them.
No, well, Pedro's Craig Kelly. Intern Pete, he's a Pauline fan.
I am, but I'm hoping to get an invite to the party on Saturday
there's
night.
There's a lot of Labor
He
supporters.
lives in my seat.
I do.
So, Peter, you going for Pauline or you?
I did. I mean, I'm going for Pauline, but sometimes Albo.
It just depends whoever's here in studio, right?
He's coming to hand out for us on Saturday.
I never said that, Mr. Albanese.
Half an hour ago, he was in the Clive Palmer yellow shirt, which is disgusting.
Tell you what, you do a shoey, I'll come and help.
Oh, you're not a shoey guy, are you?
No, I'm not a shoey guy.
No, guys, no, he's not a shoey guy.
I'm not a shoey guy.
I'm turning them down. Don't worry about them.
Beer should be drank from a can.
Yeah, Bob Hawke used to
or a
down him
bottle.
quick.
Yeah, but he's not
Come
going to
on,
be on the
Albo.
campaign drinking beer out of his shoe. Right?
Good on you, Kyle.
That's not what your vibe is.
How bad are these guys when
Bad.
you're the responsible one
It's crazy, right?
chilling them out?
I can't help it.
Yeah, sometimes.
Where
that
do you
happens.
find them?
Well, they just show up. They've all been groomed over at 2GB, and then I get them once they know what they're doing. Because I couldn't be bothered putting effort into young people.
Training? Oh, it's overrated.
Trainings for imbeciles. Mr. Albanese, good luck.
Good
Thank
luck.
you very
Thanks
much.
for coming
Everyone
in.
should vote, regardless of who you want to vote for. Get out, have your say, see
Indeed.
what happens.
Have your say and vote Labor.
That's right. Oh, he's got a different vibe.
Thank you so much.
Kyle and Jackie O.
Catch up on Kyle and Jackie O.
Search Kyle and Jackie O on iHeartRadio.
Or wherever you get your podcasts. KIIS.